They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they watch you.
One hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Corruption is a problem that has far-reaching consequences on nations, and Nigeria is not an exception. Many countries have made significant progress in curbing corruption. However, anti-corruption experts are not resting on their oars in terms of finding a final solution to the problem. Since inception, ICPC has successfully prosecuted many public officials for alleged corrupt offences in various courts across the nation. In the area of prevention, ICPC has also developed various initiatives to assist in the prevention of corruption, which is a critical prong of its mandate. It therefore stands to reason that both prosecution and prevention are important for the complete eradication of the scourge. However, in the light of inadequate resources, which of them should receive more attention and emphasis? Is it prosecution or prevention? This is the area of focus on today's edition. Welcome to Corruption Must Go, a production of the Public Enlightenment Department of ICPC. I am Murna Barnabas Atiaye. In the meantime, Ruth Awadi is here with a segment on anti-corruption stories after this time out.
Corruption not in my country.
Mr. John! Mr. John! What is it now?
What is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. Eh? What's wrong with you? Is there another person complaining?
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. Remember, I paid my husband too.
You will not understand why we are complaining because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you, and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption
not in my country.
Go to your bank.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Ruth Awudi. ICPC has secured conviction against another visa racketeer, one Mr. Giwa Sulaimon Ishola, for forgery and making false statements. The commission had filed a 3-count charge before Honorable Justice S.O. Sholebo of an Ikeja High Court sitting in Ikeja, Lagos State, against the convict on allegations bordering on providing misleading information to the United States of America consulate in Lagos with the intent of procuring a visa. Giwa was also accused of making false statements to officers of the commission, averring that the documents submitted to the consulate were genuine when they were not, which is contrary to Section 25 of the ICPC law. Trouble started for Giwa when ICPC received intelligence that he had submitted a visa application to the USA consulate with misleading and fraudulent documents. On the set day for further interview on his application, he was arrested by operatives of ICPC, and the following documents were retrieved from him: a United Bank for Africa UBA letter conveying approval for his annual leave, a Guarantee Trust Bank GTB statement of account. Further investigations reveal that the convict was not a staff of UBA as claimed, and that the content of the statement of account he had was not a true representation of his account with GTB and therefore had been falsified. It was also discovered that the visas for United Kingdom, Republic of Benin, Republic of Togo and Ghana contained in his international passport were fake. The convict proposed a plea bargain upon which the prosecution filed a 3-count amended charge indicating a plea bargain and sentence agreement, which was executed by both parties. Consequently, the convict pleaded guilty to the charges when they were read to him. The trial judge convicted Giwa on his plea of guilt and sentenced him to pay a fine of 50,000 naira only on each count in lieu of custodial sentence. The defendant was also made to undertake to be of good behavior for a period of 1 year and to execute a bond to this effect with the High Court Registry in the sum of 300,000 naira to be forfeited should he breach the terms of same, failure upon which shall result in his imprisonment for a period of 1 year. It may be recalled that in recent years, ICPC has secured convictions against many visa racketeers, which has received commendations from several foreign embassies in Nigeria. The spokesperson of ICPC, Mrs. Rashidat Okodowa, MNI, has charged women to not only condemn corruption, but to rise and take action against it. Mrs. Okodowa gave this charge when she welcomed a team of women from the Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center, Ward C, who were on a courtesy visit to the Commission recently. Okodowa, who also heads the Public Enlightenment Department of ICPC, said that it was important for women to be interested in issues of governance and speak up whenever they notice any occurrence of corrupt act.
The third major function that ICPC is, empowered by law to undertake, number 3 work that we do, is what you are talking about now: public enlightenment, public education, mobilizing the public to stand up against corruption. Scrap C. Precisely. That is what the third part of ICPC's power empowers ICPC to do, the law, that we should do what you are coming to meet us now as partnership to embark on. So what you have come to do is well within our mandate. I just wanted you to be assured of that, so that by law we are of course.
She further reiterated the essence of taking a stand against corruption, saying that corruption has a major impact on women as it puts them at risk, be it in the health and education sector. Earlier in her remarks, Nkechi Udebolam, Program Officer Ward C, who spoke on behalf of the team, said that the center's role was to mobilize women to stand against corruption and to help them change their mindset about it. She explained further that the visit formed part of their project, Strengthening Citizens' Resistance Against Prevalence of Corruption, Scrap C, which was being wrapped up.
How we can partner with ICPC to use your own medium to create awareness to the public, to have a rethink on issues of corruption, basically as it affects the women in Nigeria.
Against this backdrop, the team solicited partnership with the Commission, especially in the area of using its public enlightenment platforms to educate women to resist corruption and demand for integrity, honesty, and transparency, IHOT, at all levels. As part of measures to enhance productivity in tackling corruption and bringing it to the barest minimum, The Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, ACAN, the research and training arm of ICPC, has graduated 63 officers of the Commission on Basic Investigation and Intelligence. Training was aimed at equipping the officers on basic investigation skills, procedures for carrying out system study and review, and improving synergy and versatility. The 4-week exercise was the third tranche in the series of training to empower and improve the investigative capacity of grade level 7 to 14 of officers of the Commission. During the 4-week intensive exercise, participants were taken through rigorous training on topical issues such as techniques of investigation, surveillance, local and international institution framework for preventing and combating corruption, intelligence-led investigation, basics of forensic, modern technology, and trends in investigation and administrative procedures in public service. In his remarks during the graduation ceremony, ICPC's acting chairman, Dr. Musa Usman Abubakar, who was represented by the spokesperson for the Commission, Mrs. Rashidat Okodwa, MNI, stated that participants were fortunate to be exposed to aspects of the Commission's core function. Dr. Abubakar also reminded the participants that ICPC stands for integrity, which must be shown in everything they do.
I want to believe that you have imbibed and learned a lot of things, and I hope hopefully going from here on, we'll begin to see what you have imbibed in the way you carry out your duties and the precision that you do all the things that are assigned to you. Talking about the way we do things, we must always cultivate, nurture a personal code of excellence. You have to want to do well by yourself. Let the motivation to excel come from within you. That is what will make sure that you pay attention to details.
Earlier on his part, ACAN Provost Professor Shola Akinriade underscored the importance of the training.
The importance of skills and knowledge acquisition cannot be underestimated if anyone is successful in any venture. In the kind of work we are engaged in, a lot is expected and it too difficult to function effectively if one does not possess the requisite skills for the challenges of the moment. To be a personal better performer in these activities. This training program will only have achieved its purpose if you begin to reflect on newly acquired knowledge and skills in the performance of the duties.
That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues with Muna. Stay with us.
According to the Oxford English Dictionary, prevention means to stop something from happening, and prosecution is taking a legal action against someone who has committed a crime. As Nigeria grapples with the issue of corruption, some people have expressed their preference for prevention, while others say prosecution is the way to go. Let us hear what these Nigerians, whose opinions we sought on the subject matter, have to say.
Well, I think that prevention would be better, because if we were able to inculcate into our children to know what corruption is and how to stand against corruption, we'll be doing the nation a lot of good. A child in primary school already understands what corruption is. A child in nursery school knows what corruption is. So you're raising children that has integrity. It has a lot to do more, because you see that in offices you have corruptions everywhere. People don't even know what corruption is. A lot of people don't know. They feel it's only when you steal money that you are corrupt. But a child that takes 10,000 from his parents instead of 2,000 is corrupt. Somebody is writing project of 20,000, he's taking 50,000 from his parents. You see, corruption. Secondary school students are paying money to pass JAM. That's corruption. Children are peeping to copy answers. That's corruption. So we need to inculcate from primary school. If possible, since we have nursery school, they say school year starts from 2 years. You begin from 2 years and start teaching your child what corruption is. Now they feel, I am righteous because I don't steal. I don't take my mommy's money. I am not doing anything bad. But you forget that when you do those other little things, it can lead to corruption and it grows. So I believe that we inculcate into the little ones. That way we'll be able to prevent corruption.
Thank you very much.
If you're fighting against corruption, I think prevention is better than prosecution. If you can nip the issue before it gets to the level of prosecution, it's far better. Jails are empty. We have less things to worry about. So if you can start from, let's say, the grassroots, from the kids, you instill in them good values, whereby they avoid anything to do with corruption, they shun it, there will be no need for prosecution. So as far as I'm concerned, it's better you prevent than to punish. By punishing, you gain nothing. The person loses and we lose as well. So prevention, definitely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well said. Yeah. What will be most effective towards the fight against corruption?
The best approach or strategy to use in fighting corruption should be first, prevention. To be candid, when we look at civil servants, their salaries is nothing to write home about. And if you are fighting corruption, somebody is collecting 100,000, maybe he's on level 15 or 16. He has 4 children or five children. How do you want him to live well? When we bring other indices like health, like education and something, how will he live well? If he see money, how won't he dip his hand into it? So honestly, that's why we are saying prevention is better. If the living condition is improved upon by the government, honestly, the corruption will reduce. But if the living condition is not improved, believe me, you people will still continue to dip their hand into public treasury. So to me, I prefer prevention. What is the prevention? Make living condition enabling to people. When you do that, believe me, level of corruption will reduce. That is what I can say.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Okay. Good afternoon.
It will be difficult to say one or the other. It takes the two to tango. Because you have to prevent on the one hand, and then you have to also do the other needful in terms of ensuring that you curb it. Because there are those who on this one side of the spectrum that will require to be tapped so that they would not fall into that pit. Then there are the others that you must force, because we always build, there is this issue that there are people who, no matter what you do, they will always disobey. Then there are those, whether you are there or not, they will obey. And then there is the middle one who will always require to be pushed a bit so that they can obey. So you require the two sides.
Thank you.
The United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, is a multilateral treaty negotiated by member states of the United Nations. UNCAC believes that focusing more on prevention can reduce corrupt behavior as contained in Article 2 of its convention. We spoke to Mr. Emmanuel Uche, component manager of ROLAC.
A fight presupposes that there is a challenge. And to address the challenge, you make up your mind to come against the problem. If you're talking about the fight against corruption, you're presupposing that there is manifestations of corruption writ large. Okay? If you're preventing corruption, you're preventing corruption. If you're fighting corruption, you're presupposing there is pervasive corruption everywhere. So I think both have a role to play. You can't be talking of fighting corruption from the prosecutorial point of view alone without effective deterrence and prevention. If you do that, what you will get is you would keep trying to punish people
who have been caught with their hands in the cookie jar, while more and more people are also queuing up to do exactly the same thing. So there is the need to understand what is the incentive that's causing people to be corrupt. So you can't be talking of effective deterrence without talking of effective prevention of what is causing the corruptive behavior in the first place. So if you go with the maxim that prevention is better than cure, I mean, that maxim did not come today. It's been there forever, and it has proven to be true all through the ages. So preventing corruption is clearly the better way, rather than be seen as getting into trying to salvage a situation that's already bad. So preventing corruption is in a sense, for me, not necessarily fighting corruption, but is more about, improving societal ethics and values such that the corruptive behaviors are tamed in the bud. What you need here is more of prevention, and prevention defined as systems, mechanisms, structures, procedures that limits opportunity for corruptive behaviors. Take, for instance, I got to Ghana the other day. Ghana next door. I was shocked that at the Kotoka airport, taxi drivers were using their ATM cards to swipe, and the bar opens for them to gain access into the airport. But in Nigeria, why is that difficult for anybody to implement in our airports? Why is that difficult? As long as there is more human interface in service delivery, it's bound to be more vulnerable to corruption. So these are the type of things that ICPC is beginning to put in place that's making the difference. So corruption will make all of us better. Corruption prevention will make us better people, rather than all of us being classified as corrupt. And by the way you call your own thing is the way people will call it for you. If you say all your people are all corrupt, then everybody will say you are corrupt. But for goodness sake, put the systems and structures in place. Then you will discover that Nigerians are wonderful people, very, very law-abiding people. We go elsewhere, we keep to laws. We keep to laws everywhere. But when we come here, because we think that reign of impunity, nobody cares. So if we are serious that we are fighting corruption, let us strengthen ICPC. Let us strengthen the prevention mandate, and probably reduce it, like we are currently doing, to key building blocks of prevention. Okay, such that it tightens the noose on the neck of anyone who wants to be corrupt. And like I said earlier on, strong enforcement is in itself a deterrence and therefore a preventive mechanism. So knowing that other people have done it and they can get away with it is a great incentive to be corrupt. So let's prevent corruption by ensuring effective enforcement, by rejigging the legislative and legal frameworks, okay, and by providing incentive for people to want to join in the fight against corruption. I think ICPC is getting it right, but we need to do it at scale, where it can impact, okay, where it can deliver good impact to this country.
Let's we join hands with ICPC, make them better. Let's make Nigeria great again. ICPC, they want to and for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
From the foregoing, prevention is more economical. It ensures that systemic loopholes which allow corrupt acts to take place are effectively blocked. On the other hand, though prosecution is time-consuming, costly, uncertain, and can only be successful when adequate evidence of corrupt conduct is made available to the court, it has immediate punitive and deterrence effects. Inasmuch as both are necessary for the complete rooting of corruption, there is no gainsaying the fact that prevention is better than cure. For this reason, though it might seem like a daunting task, it is possible to eliminate corruption and other related offenses in Nigeria. See you again next week. I am Murna Barnabas Atiai.